and this was probably about 3 or 4 months before I graduated high school. And I guess he saw dollar signs because, man, he laid out like this was the best school and it's where people were getting noticed, and you know, and the fact that you train with me, I got connections with the Samoans, and I can get, you know, I've been to WWF, done dark matches, and of course, you know, being 17-year-old wrestling fan, good God,
he was saying all the things
I ate it up, man, because that's all it took for me to take, you know, literature and get his number and how much, you know, $400 tryout fee, man, you know, we'll make a star, we'll make you a star. And yeah, so I go home with all this information, and so my mom's like, so you got any ideas with what's going on for the summer or whatever? I said, well, I think I'd like to, you know, I said, hear me out, because I was notorious for like starting something and then never finishing it. You know, like I did 2 or 3 martial arts in high school. I guess about halfway through the training and I just fizzle out.
You have half of a white belt, right?
No, I'd actually make it, you know, pretty high in the ranks. I mean, because the thing is, like, when I do something though, like it's so like full force, balls to the wall for like the first year that I'm into it, and I just fizzle out after that because it's just it bores me after a while. I got to find something else. But so I was like, well, I was thinking about doing some professional wrestling, and my mom like, what? And I said, well, I talked to this guy, Bobby Doll, and she rolled her eyes, and I said, he gave me this information about, you know, starting a wrestling, he's got a wrestling school, and he wanted, you know, he told me I could be a star, and he says, you know, train for a couple months, and, you know, you get all the, Mom's like, listen, I don't care what the hell you do, but you're going to go to college, you're going to make something of yourself. Let's talk about graduating real school before we talk about graduating a wrestling school.
Smart lady.
So that kind of shot that down a little bit, but and it was always in the back of my mind from that point on. I said, you know what, no matter what, at least before it becomes too late, I'm going to give it a shot, because I don't want it to be one of those moments where I'm like, well, I wish I could have, I wish I did. But then I ended up joining the military.
You went to the Navy?
Yeah, I joined the Navy. Did, you know, 4 years of that.
What year was that?
That was 02.
So it was, okay,
I got caught up in the 9/11 hype.
Right.
And I was one of those guys who went to the recruiting office after the towers fell.
Correct.
And said, I'm going to go find Al Qaeda,
right,
but I'm going to do it on a boat because I don't want to be out in the sun.
Right.
And
that's fair.
So, yeah, I joined the military, joined the Navy, and never really put too far in the back of my mind about doing the wrestling thing. 'Cause, man, this is what was funny. Like in boot camp,
Great Lakes,
in Great Lakes, Illinois.
Yep.
I think it's the only one they have open now. And I was up there, and we would have birthing matches.
Really?
If you were in the military, you were a wrestling fan. Like even half the females we talked to up there were like hardcore wrestling fans.
In 2002, it was coming down.
Yeah, it was still post-Attitude Era,
right? And
it was right around the invasion you know, of WCW and WWF. So I mean, it was still the talk of everything, you know. And God, you know, I wanted more than anything to, you know, be in wrestling, but I said, but I had to get my career straight. You know?
Sure.
So we would have these birthing matches, and they were all 24/7 rule, and we'd end up getting in trouble and having to do like 18,000 push-ups because, you know, I thought it was a good idea to pedigree somebody on a hard tile floor and swell my knees up. And
what's a birthing match exactly?
Birthing is where we lived at, barracks.
Oh, okay.
In the living quarters, yeah, they would have matches, just random matches in the living
quarters.
quarters.
Yeah, just random matches. Like you were sitting there sleeping, and all of a sudden you got this this skinny guy in white boxers pulling you out of bed. And,
which in the Navy isn't uncommon.
No, it's really not that uncommon.
It doesn't sound right at all.
Seriously, I could do a whole other shoot interview just based on, you know, just like things that you might consider to be extremely homosexual that we thought were hilarious.
Just being a sailor.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, those seamen. But but yeah, much later, because I kind of put that wrestling thing in the back of my mind for the majority of the time that I was in the military, and it came up later that I wasn't doing so well with the physical standards.
Issues with weight? Or
yeah, I had issues with weight. being where I'm at now at 250, I was still considered morbidly obese in the military.
Well, how tall are you?
6'4".
Okay.
But they don't look at it that way.
No, they don't. It's BMI.
Yeah.
Which is a flawed system, but
I was 1% over on BMI, and I would fail every time. The rope and choke would kill me.
So did they?
The old rope and choke.
Would they get you on PT? Would you not PT, or were they just based on BMI, or could you not complete PT, or what was the deal?
No, I could complete the PT. It was just my body mass was what failed me every time.
You're not going on any subs.
If it didn't look good on paper, you failed.
Okay.
Couldn't complete the PT. It's Joe Gibson.
Just asking.
Come on.
Do people want to know?
Get your head out of your ass, Kyle.
Do people want to know?
Fair enough, but so and I had a bit of an anger issue. I got real bitter in the military because of the fact that like it seemed like it was really political.
Yeah,
and,
again, irony.
Yeah, it's more irony for you. And I was jaded. I was bitter. I didn't take well to any authority that was given towards me.
Which is not a good
That's
thing.
not good in the military at all.
It really isn't. So it got to the point where I actually confronted my LPO, which is leading petty officer.
Mm.
I actually backed him in a corner by his shirt collar and was telling him to go, pretty much, to go F himself. And so I got sent to the captain's mast, which is like, you know, the court on the ship, you know, where you get restricted to the ship, and the captain tells you how long you gotta, you know, do your extra duties or whatever. And well,
It's like ship jail.
yeah, pretty much. You're confined to the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, my chief pulls me aside and says, "Look, you've got to find something to take your mind off of the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to find something to get this anger that you have built up inside you and get it out of you."
Where were you stationed at this point?
Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting there. I'm on watch one night on the internet because that's safe, you know. Remember the coal, and
Ouch.
yeah, no disrespect to
No,
your
no,
brother
cool.
at all, but you know, it's the fact that you know it's what happened,
Right?
You know? But so I'm sitting there on the internet, and I said, you know what? Because I'm looking at gym memberships,
Right.
you know, or martial arts, and I'm thinking I've done martial arts before. I'm just going to get bored with this again. I said, why don't I just do the one thing that I've always wanted to do? And I figured Virginia's a rich territory of wrestling, a rich heritage. So I'm sitting there, I'm going, seriously, like I was on watch for 8 hours, and by the 7.5 hour, I finally found, because apparently a lot of wrestling promotions, they don't have websites, go figure.
Or poorly run ones.
Yeah. You know, you got your Angel Fire ones that haven't been updated in 12 years, and PWA. And
the bookmark says 28 visitors.
right.
I didn't even know there was one.
Since 2001.
Right.
And I find this promotion that was seriously like 20 minutes away from where I lived.
From the base?
From Virginia Beach, where I lived off the boat.
Okay.
I was, I guess you call it, married at the time.
That's another issue,
yeah, Navy issued marriage, and
We skipped that part. The whole.
yeah, it didn't
Yeah, it's
matter.
probably, yeah.
Tell us the story about how you fell in love with your wife.
I met her in a bar. She, you know, then that was the end of it.
Got an HJ and fell in love.
Yeah.
Not one of those nice soft ones, but one of those hard,
Yeah, it was one of those
really rough ones.
one of those
Angry,
rough ones
I'm gonna
where
divorce
she's
you.
more or less just mashing it under the
She's
table.
just-
You know,
She's fighting it.
it's unattractive. Not her, but the HJ.
Sure.
But anyway, that's a whole other shoot. But well, anyway, I find this wrestling promotion that the tuition was affordable. It was actually cheaper than most gym memberships, and it was 20 minutes away. And so I called up. The promoter's name was Travis Bradshaw. He ran Vanguard Championship Wrestling up in Newport News, Virginia.
Okay.
And basically just talked to him on the phone for a little while, and he told me to come on up for the tryout. And basically what the tryout was that month's tuition. It was like kind of like I guess you call it like a lease. You know, you paid the first and the last month of your gimmick, which was $100.
Right on.
So I drop $100, and you know, and did the tryout and just started training from there. And